My top 10 favorite features on the new Sp-404 version 3. Number 1, you can copy samples and entire banks to a completely different project. I have this sample, and I have it in project number 4. I want to get it to a completely different project. I'm going to hit copy, choose the sample. Right here, if you can't see, it does say P04, which represents which project that I'm currently in. If I use controller number 3, I get to choose which project that I want to put this new sample in. So I'm gonna choose project number 8. Over here, it gives me the banks of project number 8. The purple samples represent that the samples are actually being used. So I'm gonna try to find an empty sample. And as you can see, here are some empty pads. They have no lights on them, so I'm gonna choose it. I'm gonna choose D1, and it's gonna put it in project 8. I'm gonna hit down the encoder, and it's gonna copy that one sample to a completely different project for me. So when I hit shift and then I hit projects, I'm currently in project 4, but if I go to project number 8, go to bank D, and there's the sample. You can also do the same thing for entire banks. I'm gonna go back to project 4. So you're gonna hit copy plus exit, and then you get the option to choose an entire bank. So I'm gonna choose bank F, which is in project 4, and then I use my encoder to go from sample 1 to sample, or where I want to put it. I can use encoder number 3 to choose which project I want it to be copied to. So I'm going to choose project number 7, and then I'm in basically project number 7. I get to choose which bank I want it to copy to. So remember, this is an entire bank, so I need an entirely empty bank. So I'm going to go to project 7, bank F. It's completely empty, and now I'm going to hit this encoder, and now it's going to copy the entire bank to project number 7. This process may take a few minutes because it is copying all the samples from one bank to a completely different project. Now that the process is over, I can go to shift, hit projects, and go to number 7. I'm going to check to see if the entire bank has all of those samples, so I'm going to go to F. There we go. Got the samples in a completely different project, which is really dope. Number 2 is changing all of the parameters all at once, which means all of the samples that's in one bank, you can change certain settings. So I have these samples loaded up on all 16 pads. Some of these samples have a little clicking noise in the very beginning, so I want to add an envelope, adjust the attack. So I'm going to go ahead and hit shift and then go to envelope. So basically, I want to actually adjust the attack to all of the samples. So instead of me going through each and every individual sample, I'm just going to hit the remain button. I'm going to hold down the remain button. As you saw, it said 2 banks, so it's going to change the parameters of that entire bank. So I'm going to adjust the attack. So each sample has a little fade in. Hear that? Yes! I can do the same thing for adjusting the actual pitch and the speed of the sample by going to pitch and speed. I'm going to hold remain, and whatever knob that I choose to adjust is going to adjust on all of the samples. Number 3 is the startup MFX feature. Basically, you can go to shift, utilities, go to effect set, going to use the number 3 knob, and you're going to go all the way to where it says other. At the very bottom, it says MFX top, and you can choose what effect is going to pop up at the very beginning when you hit the MFX. Because before it would just go to scatter, but now I have it to where when I hit MFX effects, I can choose flanger. So I can go here, choose a Juno chorus, whatever your favorite go-to is. So now when I hit MFX effect, go straight to the flanger, which is really dope. Number 4 is huge, which is the MFX parameters. Basically, you can put your effect in a preferred setting every time you hit the button. So right here I have a super filter on my filter drive. I'm gonna hold shift and mark for 3 seconds after I've chosen what I want that parameter to be, and then every time I press that effect, it's gonna show up on that preferred setting. I'm gonna hit remain to keep the actual effect open and up on the screen, and then I'm gonna hold shift and I'm gonna hit mark for 3 seconds. And now that setting for that FX is gonna stay there every time I reopen it back up. Number 5, turn patterns into samples. If you go into pattern mode by hitting pattern select, you can copy your pattern and convert it into a sample by hitting copy, selecting the pattern, you're going to get out of pattern select mode, and then you get to choose where this entire pattern lives, and it's going to be a sample. So as you can see, the ones that are pulsating very brightly are the ones that are available that I can choose from. I'm going to hit copy, and now I have a sample of that pattern. Yes. Number 6 is pad mute, which is basically a mute automation feature while you're in the pattern sequencer. So I have this pattern, but let's say I want to take out the kick for a little bit of the actual loop. So you're gonna have to hit the shift, the reverse, and the remain button. And as you can see, it gave us a message that is currently in automation mode, pad mute. As I'm playing the sample, I can hit pattern select. It shows me my samples that are being used, the ones that are lighting up. And if I hit record and press down on the kick, it's going to remove certain parts of the kick when it was red. Yes. And if you don't like that automation, you can just hit delete and press down on the pad that you want to delete the automation from. Nice. Hey, it's so dope. Number 7, effect motion recording, which essentially is effect automation when you're using the pattern sequencer. So for this, you're going to go back to the pattern sequencer. You're going to choose a sample. You're going to hit record. You're going to hit mark. And as you can see, it said that we're in automation mode. Recorded my automation. Woo! Super dope. Number 8, copy specific patterns with specific samples. Basically have a different variation of a pattern that you created in a pattern sequencer. So if I have this beat here, and let's say I want to remove all the drums and I just want the sample, I'm gonna hit copy. I'm going to choose the pattern. I'm going to hit remain. And right now I'm in my actual sampler section of the Sp-404. I'm going to go to the group where it's the main samples, and I'm going to just choose the samples I want to be copied over. So no drums. I'm just going to choose these samples here. I'm going to hit remain again. And now I get to choose where I want to place this pattern under the pattern sequencer. So I'm going to choose the next empty pad, F7. I'm going to hit this encoder, and now I should have the same pattern but with no drums. Number 9, cue points, and you can save markers for DJ mode. So let's say I have this sample. I can add cue points. So basically when I'm in DJ mode, I can choose where I want this sample to start. So if I don't want it to start at the beginning, maybe there's a bridge or different points of the song that I want to just showcase during DJ mode. I'm gonna choose the sample. We're gonna hit shift start/N, which gets us in the chopping mode. And basically we're just gonna chop up the sample to kind of where we want the cue points to be, because the markers represent the cue points now. Now that we have some markers, you can see them here on the screen. You can adjust them with the controllers up here. I'm gonna hit exit, and now I'm gonna go out into DJ mode by hitting these two buttons. Now I'm gonna go to menu, hit select, and I'm gonna choose the sample, hit enter. When I hit shift, it shows me the cue points of what's in channel 1. Channel 1 is represented with these buttons here. Channel 1 represents the song that we just pulled up, and these represent the cue points. Number 10, you can sync up MIDI devices. So right here I have the Roland TR-8S connected to the Roland Sp-404 MK2. On my settings on the Sp-404, we're gonna hit shift, go to utilities, go to system, use the third encoder, go to MIDI. And the first thing we wanna do is make sure that MIDI internal is turned on. The next thing we wanna make sure that MIDI sync out is on. For the hardware, I have my MIDI out on my Sp-404 MK2 going into the MIDI in on the TR-8S. I also have these 1/4" cables coming from the mix out left and right, and that's going into my Sp-404 input, the line in. Now these line outs are going into my audio interface connected to my computer so I can hear the audio. We also want to make sure the external source is turned on the Sp-404. So the first way we can check to see if this is working for our Sp-404, we're going to hit pattern select. That sample that I showed you guys where I took the drums out, I'm going to press play, and this device should play along with it. It's synced up. Obviously I can change the sounds on this device. Change the kick. Gives you the idea of that you can actually do live performances. You can have a little variation, have some fun, as well as do this in DJ mode. So I'm gonna go to DJ mode, I'm gonna go to menu, I'm gonna select pad F15, hit enter. I turned the music down on the sample, but this is synced up to DJ mode. So if I do a bend or a increase in the BPM, this device will adjust the same way. So let's check it out. One tip to make sure that you have your sample in loop mode so it can loop in DJ mode. But let's say if I change or bend, it goes with it. Let's up the BPM. That was really dope. Really quick tip, if you have another song load into DJ mode on channel 2 and you want this device to sync up with that channel, you have to hit the sync button, and the sync button has to be green. If you're new to the Sp-404 MK2 family and you have no idea what we're talking about, I got you. Make sure you guys go to noquantize.com and enroll into the complete guide to Roland's Sp-404 MK2, where I break down the ins and outs of the Sp-404 straight out the box, with videos about this update as well as the previous update that came out a year ago. There are so many other features that are included in this update. Make sure you guys check out Roland's website for the complete list of all the new features in this update. If you guys haven't purchased the new Sp-404 MK2, I highly recommend. It's a 10 out of 10. If you do decide to purchase it, make sure you come back to this video and click on my affiliate link. It very much helps this channel. I would love to also hear your feedback about the new update and if there's any cool things that you guys want to see. Until next time, peace.